Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Alaracanfield Show, the Awake to Happiness Now global series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And today, my good friend Sarah Massiah is back with us, and we're talking about why we overindulge. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to also look at lots of other things. For example, we're going to do a process with Melchizedek and angels and guides. We're going to talk about, what does that even mean to overindulge, right? We're going to talk about that and all sorts of wonderful things. We're going to take live caller questions. And, we're also going to talk about, if you are feeling disappointed, disheartened by what's happening in the world today. We're also going to talk about your own tendencies. Have you looked at them? Are you aware of what they are? If you want to understand them fully. And, also if you're holding on to old tendencies, old patterns that you keep falling back into, we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about, are you still reacting to certain situations no matter what you do? And right now, a lot of those triggers are coming up, right? So you're going to be like, yeah, definitely, but we'll, that can change. We're going to have an activation to assist you and to aid you in knowing your divine potential, as well as a short meditation to assist you with the releasing of stress. So that's always important right now, especially. And for those of you who don't know Sarah, she's been on our show many times now, and we love having her back. She's wonderful. She's an award-winning author. She is the founding member of the Elohim Council, High Council of Light, working closely with Melchizedek, the Ascended Masters, and the angels. And Sarah's going to talk about the Elohim Council of Light. She's also going to talk about the keys of creation, the golden keys from Melchizedek, what that means, how the keys are directly linked to the Akashic realms, where all of our experiences are held, logged, and monitored. We're going to talk about that. And Sarah works multidimensionally to aid all of Creator's children, no matter the planet or universe. And Sarah utilizes the new healing modality, which she developed working directly with Creator. So that's part of the work that she does. All that and so much more, like always. I'm just seeing if I missed anything. And we're going to talk about, what's happening in the world right now, the shift that we're all going through. We're releasing so much, right? And we're opening ourselves up to being more of who we are and really remembering who we are. So we're going to talk about that and what else, right? So thank you so much, Sarah, for being here, being back with us today. Welcome. And let's just get into it, because we always have so much to talk about, right? We always have so much.
We do.
So let's start I want to start with overindulging, what that means. Let's start there, and then we'll go into the keys and everything else.
Yeah. Well, overindulging, it's not just overindulging in maybe food or alcohol. A great thing we can overindulge in is our own thoughts, and our mind can overindulge, and we can go off on different tangents here and there. Our mind's a great resource as well, but when we overindulge certain thoughts, it definitely does us more harm than good. It can be very detrimental, as we all know. So when we're looking at addictions, patterns, traits, etc., we need to look at, really, everyone needs to drill down to where they are overindulging. If I'm talking with someone even, and I think, oh, that was a little bit of a negative thing to say, and then I would drum down and look at why I haven't even indulged in that thought, that concept. So it's really about, at this time, really noticing what we're saying, what we're thinking, and what we're feeling. And also, if we're looking at patterns that are unhealthy, about looking at the pattern, when do we reach for something? When do we look for comfort? Why are we overindulging in that particular issue at that minute? So it's really about thinking about all of our actions, words, and deeds.
Absolutely. And I didn't think about that part, actually, when we were talking about overindulging. It's like, our thoughts, mostly, our thoughts, our emotions, our old stories, our old patterns, we do overindulge in them. And sometimes it's fun, but usually it's not.
Yeah. So we can overindulge you know, we can go back into past experiences and think, I wish that I could bring that time back again, or that's not living in the moment of now. That's giving way to a type of overindulgence. So you know, we have many programs running that would probably make us overindulge, but it's really catching ourselves to why we're saying, doing and acting in certain ways. So yeah, it's looking at our patterns, mindsets, and of course, you know, a lot of detrimental mindsets can in fact cause problems within our bodies, not just our mind. So everything, you know, is all connected, as we know. So it's looking at that.
Absolutely. And so, you know, how can we start to not overindulge as much, or how can we even start to be aware that we are overindulging?
Well, I think we really need to drill down and look at our triggers, looking at, you know, why we're overindulging, in certain thoughts or certain emotions, or our certain memories. Why are we being pulled in certain directions? So it's really looking at what's triggered this for us, and really drilling down to see, you know, what's going on, what was the trigger in this situation, because we always have a trigger. It may be tiny, and it may be really needing to sit and meditate, or go, you know, really deep within and just look at what was going on for us at that time.
So I'm going to invite everyone who's here, if they can, just write in the chat really quickly, what is one thing that you are overindulging in? It could be a thought, a pattern, a belief, a story, right? What is one thing that you're overindulging in that you're aware of, right? Sometimes we're not even aware that we're overindulging in something, right? But what is one thing? So type in the chat, just so that we have, you know, more of us have an idea and awareness of, oh yeah, that, you know, that is something I'm definitely overindulging in. I keep thinking about it, I keep focusing on it, I keep, you know, judging myself on it, kind of thing, right? So so I was just thinking that it's like, you know, and sometimes it's like a timing thing, right? Sometimes it's just like a temporary blip, you know, in time that we're focusing on one thing. That's not what I mean, right? And that's not what you mean either, Sarah, right?
No, it isn't. No, it's when it kind of becomes, it kind of takes over your life. It's really a big thing, because we can overindulge a little bit when we, for instance, go out for dinner, and we can think, oh yeah, shouldn't have had that. But it's something that we have to keep going back to and back to and back to. So it's something, you know, it's a pattern that we, and it might be a thought pattern as well, because, you know, thoughts, you know, of fear, for instance, fearful thoughts, we can overindulge in them, and then we can create in our mind, because in the mind we can create many things, as we know. We can create scenarios that will never happen. You know, so overindulging in fears and that type of thing also is not good for us. So when we look at overindulging, if we were working with that within a session, it would be many avenues we'd be looking at as why we do something.
I know that for myself, one of the things that I used to overindulge in, I don't anymore. I definitely do not. This has been cleared, but I used to, was I always used to say, I'm not supported. I have no support. You know, I used to always say that, you know, and I felt that I'm not supported. I have no support. That is not true for me anymore, but it's something I definitely overindulged in, and, you know, played the pity party card, and at the same time, you know, felt like I was in lack and scarcity, and not really, you know, feeling supported, but which is not true now. But in the past, that is definitely one story that I kept on repeating over and over again.
Absolutely.
So I just want to share some of the stuff that people have written in the chat. They're talking about chocolate snacks, right?
Yeah. I think we can all say we can understand that one.
Always thinking and acting like my father, especially on days when I visited him, right?
Yeah.
addicted to fat bombs or sweets on my keto diet, and I have stopped losing weight, right? So yeah. So hang tight to a thought. Yeah, sure. Hang, like holding on to. So Suzanne is asking, she was looking up in the dictionary what it means, and there's different meanings in her language, right? So she was asking that. So it might mean to hang on tight to a thought or a picture or a vision in your mind. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And we can make pictures in our mind. We can imagine the worst case scenario, and that would be overindulging in a negative thought. We can, not all thoughts we overindulge in are bad, obviously. We can have great thoughts. Oh, it's going to be a wonderful day, and we can keep repeating that. But if we overindulge in the absolute opposite, then obviously what we're putting out there, our thoughts are so important. They create a vibration, a pattern, and it goes out to the universe. So it's really boring down, because if we overindulge on it in a negative, fearful thought all the time, repeating it, we're going to attract it to ourselves. So yeah.
Absolutely. So, crunching on ice, somebody says, judging myself for my mistakes. Yep. We've all done that, right? For sure. Drinking and smoking a lot lately, but that's my shamanic history coming back. I'm not going to change it right now. Awesome. But at least you're aware of it, right? So yeah. When you're looking at these overindulgences, right? Then is it important to look at, okay, what am I compensating for? Right? For me, that's what it comes down to. I'm compensating for something. I'm filling some sort of need or lack in my life by overindulging in this. In some situations, right? Is it me or is it Sarah? Okay, Sarah. Okay, I was gonna say, it's like, I'm still here, right? Because sometimes, you're not sure, right? So I think we just lost Sarah, but she'll be back in just a minute. So, we'll keep talking. So this is what I'm saying. It's not just the physical, but it's also the emotional and the mental, right? Thoughts and patterns and beliefs that you may have that can be overindulgence. Oh, I was also frozen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where is she? There she is.
I'm here. I'm hoping it stays. I don't know why it's choosing to do this again tonight, but
did this carry on? Did it do this with us yesterday too, or no? I don't remember now.
No, it didn't. No, I don't know. It didn't. It was fine. It just has its minutes, this internet here. I don't know why. So
we're just gonna get the energies to clear so that there's less disruption, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, why not? Right. So clear those disruptions in the lines. Yeah, awesome. Good. All right. So so we were talking about my goodness, where were we? I was saying, are we compensating for a lack, compensating for some sort of scarcity in our lives, trying to fill a void, fill a need? Usually that's what overindulgence is about physically. But when it's an overindulgence in mental or emotional patterns and thoughts, what is that? Is that just an old pattern coming up, and we're feeding our energy into it again and again and again?
Absolutely. So it is old patterns, old thoughts, and often they stem from other times, places and spaces. It's not as simple as it just being from this time and place. It can often be from many times when we've and it's triggered here. So we might look at also ancestral patterns, that type of thing, when we're overindulging in certain habits as well. So there's many reasons behind why we overindulge, and it's never as simple as just one thing. It could be being bullied. It could be, that triggered us to overindulge in certain habits that are not good. And it can be way back in childhood, and it can be way back in other lives. So it's not necessarily, it's triggered now, but it's not necessarily from now that we need to look at why we're we're holding that energy of and that habit of overindulging.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, and so like you just said, it's not just from this lifetime, it's from other lives, other I was gonna say other lives, other dimensions and aspects of ourselves,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. And if we look at ourselves as sitting in a kind of program, if we look at ourselves as having lots of programs throughout many different lives, and even, as we came into the first incarnation experience, we would have been sitting in certain programs. So we need to even go right back to when we first joined the incarnational experiences and started our journey, if you like, through many existences, because we're billions of years old. We've been around for billions of years, and if we think of it in that term, I mean, in terms from upstairs, they don't see years like we do. So I have been told 40, for instance, 46 billion years is like 46 days to spirit. If but they don't really work in time, but they're giving us a comparison. So when we think about that and how many experiences you could fit into 46 billion years, we've got a lot of experience and a lot of places we need to bore down and look into.
Absolutely. And so your work with the keys, you can look at a person's journey and how it works with the Akashic records, with the Akashic realm, and working with the keys, you can really work at pinpointing deeply rooted issues, right, within the Akash, and you can pinpoint more clearly what is going on, right?
Absolutely. And within the key work, we also can change planets, planets that are no longer serving. So we actually do change whole programs for not just ourselves, but for many on there that may have had, say, shocking experiences or tremendous pain or gone through turbulent times. So when we're working in the keys, we're aiding not only ourselves, but also it's a collective energy, and working with Creator, doing a lot of grid work and that type of thing as well. So it's through all dimensions, grids, timelines, and it goes really deep into specific issues that Creator gives us. So normally within the key work, I channel before the session what we're going to work on, and then we work through it. So we go right back to the beginning of the incarnational experience for that soul, look at programs that may have been running and clear them, then come down, look at different planets that may have affected us, cause shocks or trauma, and then come back to here and clear all those triggers. So we do clear quite a few stories, and that's why the key work takes longer than some other sessions, because we really go into quite a lot of depth. So some sessions often go up to 2.5 to 3 hours. So it's so you do clear a lot in the session, but we do really bore down.
Yesterday I was having a session with Sarah, and I thought it was going to be half an hour, because it was just like, spur of the moment kind of thing. Ended up being an hour and a half, and there was a lot of healing, a lot of going deep, and a lot of healing and clearing and getting information and stuff. But that was an hour and a half, and I'm like, I was done. I was like, I'm so tired now. It's like there's a lot of stuff going on, right? So that was a lot of work that we did yesterday, ourselves. But some of the stuff we don't even recognize that we have, because it's just either it's like really, really old, and it's really, really from a time and place that we're not even aware of anymore, but it's there in, that you can access it through the keys. It's there in the Akasha. It's there in our blueprint, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's there. And we all are unique and obviously very, very different. And we all have different tendencies, traits. We all fit into a different mold. We're all unique. So no soul's molded, if I'd like to use that word, the same as another. So we have to look at all where the unique patterns, traits, etc. that we're holding. So yeah, it can take quite a while to clear, but it's boring. It boils down into things that we wouldn't even think to come up. And sometimes before or during a session, I have to just say to someone, I just have to look up that word because I'm not quite au fait with it. So we have some quite bizarre words come up, but they have a meaning, and all words have meanings, and so that's why we have them in our dictionary. And so often creator knows what's best, and so I'm guided totally by creator during the session.
And so can you let's take an example of judging myself for mistakes. That's a big one. We all do it, right? It's a trigger. It's something we overindulge in, right? It's a pattern. It's a belief, right? So how would you work with somebody using that, for example? I don't know if you can do it generally, because it's I know you go deep into a person's journey, but just generally, what would that be like?
Oh, well, we'd look at. I look at it like if we imagine a wheel, and we have the problem in the middle, and we imagine lots of spikes coming off of the wheel, we'd have to bore down into many aspects. So being hard on yourself, there'd be many reasons why we overindulge in certain mindsets. There may be, as I said before, we might be looking at, for instance, being bullied, but we might bully ourselves. It might be something as simple as that. So we bully, that type of energy. There may be overindulging in thoughts. It could be triggered in childhood, for instance, always being told that you weren't good enough. And then obviously we're going to overindulge in that feeling of, so it comes from many reasons, but we would bore down into how it makes you feel. We'd look at feelings as well. And sometimes during a key session, it can bring up quite a lot of emotion. So we'd be looking at that, but we quickly clear it because if something really has triggered something as we go through the session, it can bring up a wave of emotion. But the point is we quickly give it back to creator. So it could be being shouted at, and it could be feeling small. So there's many reasons why something can happen.
And so using that example of judgment, judging yourself for mistakes, etc., it could there's many different reasons why. It's not just one. And you're right, it could come from childhood, it could come from your parents, it could come from a past life, it could come from a parallel life, it could from the collective as well, right? We pick up all that stuff. So all of that can be cleared in that session, as they come up, depending on what it is for each person. But definitely.
So
go ahead.
So there's normally a title we get, I get given, but then it has lots of different shoots off. So we go through, say bullying ourselves, because we can bully ourselves. That can be, we can overindulge in thinking, if we keep telling ourselves, that's so stupid. And we hear people say, I'm so stupid, and that is a type of bullying of ourselves. So we'd be looking at things like that. So it can really go into quite minute detail within the key session.
Yeah, absolutely. Good, thank you. And so even like any of these triggers, tendencies, traits, these overindulgences, once we get the awareness of it, then we can clear it, and then our life will take on a different flavor. Even it's not going to be the same, right? Because we're no longer being affected by that energy.
No, absolutely. And traits, tendencies, and that sort of thing, and mindsets, they all have slightly different meanings. So we would be looking at traits. We'd be looking, because traits, we've all got a human trait. We've all got human traits. One of the great human traits is to be kind of inquisitive. So we'd all have a human trait. Everyone would be inquisitive because that's part of the human nature. But we could have a trait, for instance, for example, like a trait of keeping things, repeating things, believing that we're no good at something. That would be a trait, to keep telling ourselves, I'm no good at that, I'm no good at that. And so we stop ourselves doing something in quite big ways. So it'd be looking at trait. And then tendency, it could be something we tend to be. So we tend to get embarrassed. It's slightly different because we could have a trait of being embarrassed, but that would always be playing out. If we have a tendency to something, it would be, we could tend to be that way, but it's not always going to play out that way. So that's why I wanted to really bring up how the difference between a tendency and a trait. And so within the keys, we're looking not just at one thing like a trait. We'd be looking at tendency, the trait, and a mindset. So it would be all three together. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. And it gives a bigger picture too, and clears more and different energies that are related and linked and interrelated for sure, but they're slightly different, right? So you would clear all of those energies.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, that there's traits, tendencies, and then of course we've got the other one, the biggie, the mindset. So we can, our mindset can be fluid or it can be quite rigid. And so many with quite rigid mindsets as well. And that's like a program. We can have programs of rigid mindsets where we won't budge. So we won't budge from a thought or feeling. Whereas someone else with a more fluid mindset would think, I've got this, this is a challenge, but I'll easily overcome it. Someone with a more rigid mindset may think, I'm never going to overcome this, and it's doomsday. So they're all things that we do have to consider when we're looking and working on ourselves. What is our mindset? Are we rigid? Are we fluid? What are our traits? Do they come and go, or is this a trait that I always have? Is it a pattern that's always running? So it's really boring down into different aspects of ourselves, really, and what makes us tick. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Absolutely.
Thank
you for that clarity for all the three different types, right? So that's important to have that clarity on the three different types, and just knowing that you're not clearing just one, you're probably going to be clearing a bunch of those different energies and those different types of mindsets, traits, tendencies, and triggers and overindulgences, right? So
absolutely.
So Suzanne was asking in the chat, when Sarah is looking in one's problem or picture, is she or how is she connect? I'm going to say connecting in. Does she ask Melchizedek or other realms?
Well, I work directly with the creator. So when we work within a key room, we go into a room that is directly working with creators. So it's going, I have a conversation with creator really, and supported with Melchizedek and all the angels and guides. But it's really creator that I'm connecting with per se, and it's creator I go to, because when I work with the keys, I get into a specific grid and protection that I wouldn't be sitting in now. But if I'm going into a key session, I'm up in a certain place where I get protected. So I'm sitting directly with creator and supported by Melchizedek, the angels and guides, to work.
Awesome. Good. Thank you for the question, Suzanne. Awesome. Okay, so if I forgot to mention this, of course, but if you have a question for Sarah, you can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat. Okay. I was just going to see if there was something else that I missed in the chat, but I'm not sure. A block to self-care. Yeah, that's a big one that a lot of us have, is not really putting ourselves first, right? And not nurturing ourselves, not caring for ourselves, and putting other people first. And really what that comes down to is not feeling worthy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And and also we can feel obliged to do something as well. and that can come from many places. We can feel like we can't say no, for instance, so we can't say no, so we always put someone first, or we may have made different contracts or agreements. I mean, there's many scripts we can run in our head, and programs that could run to why we can't say no, or why we think, oh, no one will listen to me, etc., etc. So it would be really looking at the mindset, the trait around that, and the tendency. Do you always go to that place where you're running around for everyone, or is it something that just happens at certain times? What's the trigger?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And that is also something that's really rampant in the collective as well, right? So
absolutely, absolutely.
Is it yours, or are you picking it up from the collective and from other people, and from from your ancestors, and from your cultural family, etc., right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's lots of different things woven in, aren't there? Because it could be you can't say no because you were always never allowed to express yourself, for instance. So you feel like if you express yourself, you're going to be berated. So during the keys, we'd be looking at things like berated, and all those other reasons why we can't. We're always doing something for others, but not looking after ourselves. Why is that? And it could be even like we need to be totally busy all the time. We need to, and there can be reasons for that as well. So we put off doing what we feel we really know we should be doing, but we're running around doing everything else to avoid it. So it could be looking at why we avoid things so that we need to do, but it's easier to avoid that. So
that brings up an example. My ex-mother-in-law, but not my ex-mother-in-law, it's complicated, but my ex-husband's birth mother, we met her after the fact, right? And she would always be cleaning, cooking, doing everything, and never sitting down, right? And so for her, it was, she needed to stay busy, because if she stopped and she thought about all the stuff that was going on in her head, she would break down, right? So she needed to constantly be doing stuff and taking care of people. And she was a nurse, right? So she always liked to take care of people as well. But if she stopped, she would have to deal with and face her emotions, and face her story, and face her history, and face her judgment and perceived judgments, and etc., right? So she didn't, so that's a great example of avoiding.
And overindulging as well, actually, Ella. It's a great example of overindulging, because you're overindulging in the action of cleaning. And it can become obviously compulsive, but you're overindulging in something, so you don't have to look at yourself or dig deep within.
Exactly. She's a wonderful person. I mean, I really love her, and she was great, but she definitely had some issues. Eve is asking, I seem to be revolving and not getting forward. What do you see going on, please? I seem to be going round and round and round in circles and not going forward. What do you see going on, please?
Well, obviously, we know that it's a feeling stuck, but it's a trait that's been and a pattern that's been going on for I'm being told eons of time for her. And it's concerning decisions. It's hard to make a decision. I don't know if Eve would agree with that, but it's hard to stick to and make. It's actually in the making of the decision, I'm being told. So it's hard to make decisions. So you keep going round and round and round and round, and there'll often be a lifetime where we found it hard to make a decision. Being pulled in many directions would be one of them. So you don't know where to go first, I'm being told, for Eve there. So I don't know if that resonates with Eve.
Yeah, Eve, let us know how that resonates with you. And if anybody else has a question for Sarah, you can, like that, you know, you can ask about questions like that, about certain tendencies, certain overindulgences. Type the question in the chat or raise your hand.
But making decisions is hard for many of us, I think, you know.
Yeah, I think it's
sometimes.
It's part of, like, we don't want to make a mistake, you know. We don't want to make the wrong choice.
Absolutely. So there's a lot caught up in decision making, and you know, so it's an aspect, but as you know, you bore it down, there'd be many reasons why it's hard to make a decision. But one, for instance, would be to be pulled in many directions and not know which one to take. So it makes you unbalanced.
Yeah, and not having the clarity and not trusting.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a theme.
Absolutely. We've all had that theme, I think, at times. Yeah. You know, everyone. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So let us know, Eve, how that resonates with you. Okay. Awesome. Good. All right. I'm just gonna go. Hold on. So Beverly says, my tendency is always to ask what's wrong with me. Oh goodness, that's a judgment, right? When something happens, I make a mistake, procrastinate, overeat, even when I get a vision from a past life. Overeat or overreact? I'm assuming that means overreact.
Yeah. Yeah.
Overeat. Oh, she says overeat. Oh. Okay.
All right. There's probably a reason for that. There will be a definite reason.
Yeah, so she's always asking what's wrong with me when something happens. Yeah. So do you get any message for her there, Sarah?
I get a message to say it's about looking at deeply doubting yourself. It's about doubt there that's coming up. They're showing me. So it's definitely about doubting it's doubting the messages you get, and then as you doubt it, you get caught up in it and then think, oh, I need something to make me feel better, so overindulge. That's what I'm being told, but it's definitely surrounding doubts. For Beverly is a big trigger to overindulge with food, I'm being told. So I don't know if that resonates with her, but it's and fears.
Doubt, doubts and fears.
Well, doubt of course is a type of fear. So when we doubt, we spin into a mode of fear. So absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely. Good. So Suzanne, she said, I'm so terribly nervous, I'm going to say, before traveling with train, airplane, and so on. Is there something old hanging in there, hanging on?
Well, I don't know. I'm getting fear of things collapsing, which doesn't always, you know, but it may have been where everything collapsed around and fell from a great height. So it's fear of things collapsing would be what I looked at there, because it's definitely about things collapsing, right? You know, we could say, oh, we're on the cliff edge, but it's not. It's more to do with things, they're telling me, and the thing being things collapsing around. So that's what I'm getting for that, the fear. So it'd be to work on things collapsing, even like they're telling me, even like working on feeling like your dreams are collapsing, and really doing great affirmations on seeing your dreams and what you want to come to fruition. I know it doesn't sound like it collates with what she's talking about, but it is about things collapsing around her.
So your dream, your reality, your world, right?
Yeah, sometimes absolutely. Yeah,
your foundation.
It doesn't have to be you're collapsing from a bridge.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
about it's about things collapsing. So
Yeah,
it could be
like in November, when Robert had his stroke, my whole world collapsed, right? Everything.
yeah,
It's like everything
absolutely.
just collapsed, right?
Yeah.
So the foundation collapsed and I had to rebuild, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that can happen to us many times throughout life, but it is, so we wouldn't necessarily put the fear of planes, etc., in with collapsing, but that's what, that's how we have to bore down into really what is the root cause of that. And it can even be to the collapse of our dreams.
Does that make sense, Suzanne? It helps? Yeah. Awesome. Good. Thank you. There was something else that was coming through, but it's it's okay. It's all good. So Grace says, I procrastinate. I'm always going to do it tomorrow. I used to be always doing when I was younger. If you can help, would be grateful. So procrastination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why, but immediately I got there for Grace. Something about chasing her tail all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There will have been a lifetime where she was always chasing her tail, so she never quite caught up with what she was meant to be doing now. Immediately I got that, so I just thought I'd share that with her. So I'd be looking at chasing the energy of chasing your tail, never quite getting there, if that makes sense to her.
Mm-hmm.
So
mm-hmm. And so let us know if that makes sense. So even with that, chasing your tail is kind of like going in circles but never quite getting there, right? So procrastination is it's also about not getting there because you're postponing it. I'll do tomorrow, I'll do tomorrow, I'll do tomorrow. You're never really getting there, right?
Yeah, but we can not get there because we're also always chasing something that we should have been doing, and it just ends up going round and round, doesn't it, if you chase your tail? So
for sure. Brenda's has a question about, she says, my tendency is to gain weight if I am not actively dieting, even though when I'm not dieting, I'm eating healthy.
Right. Well, that I'd say is more, what I'm being given there is more of a mindset. It's stuck in a mindset that always have to be on a diet to stay in a certain way. So it's about how you see yourself and perceptions as well. And I don't know if it's about counting things as well, I'm being told for some reason. Feeling more secure if you're counting things. So when you're not doing that type of rigid diet, it feels like everything's out of control. So when you're counting something, or you're actively saying you're doing this and following some regime and counting something, it's a way of controlling something. Whereas if you say, I'm not dieting but I'm still eating healthily, it can trigger first of all, you can actually tend to eat a little bit more that you probably wouldn't do if you're not counting, but it's to do with a lack of control for some reason, I'm getting, and the lack of control can make us eat more, and then it becomes a bit of a vicious cycle. So even though we're eating healthily, there's something about counting there, I'm getting.
So it's about counting and control, and for me it's like staying on a program. Staying on a program, you're trying to control. It's safe. Absolutely. So hopefully that makes sense, Brenda. And then Amanda's asking, and this is not my Amanda, it's another Amanda. I think. Amanda said, life seems to have been full of patterns of difficulty and unable to move into opportunities. So that's more of a tendency or a mindset, right?
It's more of a mindset. It's more of a mindset, and once we start to go down that total mindset that you're never going to achieve I'm never going to achieve that. Often it becomes a perpetual self-actualizing cycle of events, if that makes sense. So yeah, if we keep going with that, it would be there really about planning and making plans that I'd suggest that was, you could stick to, would be part of a way out of it, as well as obviously looking at what can we do in our actual human lives. We have to think as well. So we can do lots of energy work, but we also have to kind of do things that we can help ourselves with, Alara, if that makes sense. So making rigid plans if you feel you're not getting anywhere, and ticking them off when you've done it, and then you can really, really see that you've
it's about taking action, right, and holding yourself accountable, and and actually moving forward by doing something step by step every day, like
absolutely
3 things towards your goal every day. I suggest every day, because if you say, I'm just going to do it a couple of times a week, well, that's not going to happen. So if you do something every day, you will get there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Baby steps, and then they kind of can snowball, and it can then feel like you're on a snowball's kind of gaining momentum. So
yeah, and then you'll be able to see how far you've come, like you said. If you're starting to take daily action or consistent action, you'll see how far you've gone, right? So that's when you'll be able to actually see the opportunities, because right now you're just seeing the stuckness, right, and not the moving forward, right? And you're only seeing the difficulties right now and the challenges, instead of the blessings and the opportunities that are possible for you. And sometimes we have to fake it till you make it, so that you can actually start to see the opportunities that are there. They are always there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Grace says yes. Oh, I forget what the question was, Grace, before, but yes, I have been writing a book for about 6 years, and I have not much to do, but just seem unable to complete it. Oh, I hear you. So that, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I can absolutely understand where Grace is coming from there. I've been writing book 2 for coming up 2.5 years, and it's absolutely nearly done, but I've got a little bit to do to complete it, just like her. But I do think that if it can also be about divine timing as well. Perfect timing.
It's not, but yeah. I don't like that word myself. It's like everything is divine, but it's also about, it's like, what are you resisting? Right?
Absolutely.
So if you're procrastinating writing the book, what are you resisting? What part of you are you not willing to express, to share? Because a book is very personal. It's a living, breathing entity, but it comes from within you, right? And so it is you actually expressed in written form. So, where are you still holding back? Where are you not willing to share?
Even also worry about putting yourself out there. Could be quite a big reason.
Are you afraid to be seen? Are you afraid to be judged? Are you afraid you're going to be rejected? All of that, right, comes up when you're wanting to do stuff like that, for sure.
Absolutely. So we can put obstacles in our own way. Yeah, you are right about that. But
so
absolutely.
Sarah can definitely work with you to do some healing work and key work around that, so that you can clear what may be in the way of you finishing, writing that book and get it out there.
Yeah. And I do think it is about having a plan, looking at where you can publish. I mean, you have to really do some research, and it's sitting down, having that time to do it. Where's best to maybe submit your book? There's different steps to go through to look at publishing when you're going to publishers. And so it can feel rather daunting, because I have obviously published book 1. It can feel daunting, but it's about talking to other people, joining communities that could help. So there's lots of things you can do when you're getting to that stage of publishing.
Awesome. Good. Thank you. But go for it. Go for it, Grace. Just go for it. All right. Good. So I know that we're going to do a meditation and activation today as well, right? But
absolutely.
But before that, I just want to take everybody through the packages, which are available at alara.at/show/Sarah6. So Sarah, do you want to just quickly talk about the packages? And these are deeply discounted packages at this time for everyone. So when you take a look at them, you will see that as well, that they're deeply discounted. All right, so we have package A, B, and C. Package A is $100 for a 60-minute session. Package B is $202 for 120 to 180-minute session. And package C is $46 for a 40-minute Akashic Soul Purpose reading. And yeah, I highly recommend any or all of them. Like I said, I just had a 90-minute session yesterday with Sarah. It was wonderful.
Yeah, well, and sometimes it does go on a little longer because you know, once we get into doing something, it's, you know, there's certain things, especially within the key sessions, mainly, that we have to make sure all the timelines are centered and all the grids. So it can take a while at the end. And then when we step out the key room, we also have to anchor everybody that has a key back into the timer now. So, you know, make sure it's all settling well.
Yeah. But let's talk about some of these sessions, right? So the 40-minute Akashic Soul Purpose reading session, right, which is only $46. I keep wanting to say euros, but it's only $46. So what would people experience in that reading with you?
Right, well, we open the Akashic records, but as Alara knows, I can't just stick to the normal Akashic reading because I go straight into key mode. So we do talk light language, do go straight to creator, and do look at old stories that hold us back, and we may clear quite a few at once. So basically, we'll be clearing.
So it's a reading and a clearing and a healing, all combined.
And soul purpose, we all have got a purpose here, and some, you know, we could get caught in a mindset, I don't know, there's nothing that I should be doing, I'm stuck. But we've all got a purpose here, and it would be really looking at what is what's the purpose, what will you come here to do? I mean, we've all come here to unite and become one at this time, obviously, but we've all got different little purposes that we're here to bring our gifts and share with others. So it'll be looking at that as well.
Absolutely. And like I said, I highly recommend working with Sarah. If you have never worked with Sarah before, you will love it. You will. It's transformational. There's healing, there's clearing, there's readings. You know, it's great. So then package A was the 60-minute session, right, for $100, and package B is 120 to 180 minutes for $202. So basically, those are working with the keys. I mean, you can't help but work with the keys and the Akash and creator and doing healing and clearing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It all happens at once.
Absolutely. It does. Yeah, absolutely.
So package A and package B are also available in 2 and 3 part payments. Somebody, not gonna say who, but somebody messaged me the other day and said, "Oh, can you do 3 part payment plans?" It's like, oh, I don't know. Let me check. You know, it's like, because I do 2. It's like, I'm not sure. Let me check. I said, you know, if that would be helpful. You know, can ease, you know, give you some ease. So now it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, we can do it. So then I went in and I started changing some of the ones for this season to be 2 and 3 part payment plans, so that if that's what you require, you know, to give you some ease, it's available. So package A and B, you can get 2 and 3 part payment plans. Package C, you cannot. It's $46. I'm not doing a payment plan for $46. I'll be honest, right? So it's like,
absolutely.
Yeah. So those 3 are available, and like I said, I highly recommend it. If you're going to do any of those sessions with Sarah, you know, even though the package C is 40 minutes, give yourself an hour, right? Because Sarah will go above and beyond.
Yeah, it's in the nature.
Yeah, she's a giver and she likes to give. And the other ones, you know, like, you know, the 1 hour, you know, might be 1 hour, might be a little bit more. And then package C could be a full 120 to 180 minutes. So give yourself that time, but always know too, that even if you're doing the larger, longer session, there's so much value. There's so much transformation. There's so much change, but there is also in package A, like in all 3 packages. So just know that, right? There's lots of transformation, lots of change, whichever package you get. Because like I said, I just worked with Sarah yesterday and it was amazing. Amazing. All the clearing, all the healing, all the reading, it was wonderful. So I highly recommend any of them, whichever one is calls to you. Please do choose that for yourself. Okay.
Bless you, Laura.
So if anybody has any questions about the packages, let me know in the chat, or you can always email me as well. But I want to do the activation and the meditation too, Sarah.
Yep, lovely. So just going to look at aiding stress, really, because I think we can all say that we have stressful moments in our day. We're not going to deeply delve into stress, but individually, obviously, but we're just going to clear some stresses of the day. And then we're just going to turn, for instance, we're going to turn on a tap of calm and peace and beauty, and just be having a nice little kind of wash off all the stress with Creator during the meditation. So that's what they plan for us. So yeah, so just going to ask everyone just to sit quietly and hallelujah, and just going to bring Melchizedek in, and we're just going to begin. So can you all imagine a beautiful light now coming down from Creator? Hallelujah. This beautiful light stopping at the top of the head. I just want to imagine that light growing and growing. A beautiful gold and platinum light, Ishalakai. And imagining that light now traveling down through the body, down and down until it reaches the feet. And taking that light down through new earth, down through gold and platinum earth, Ishalakai, hallelujah. Anchoring you to earth. Taking a deep breath. Imagining that light going back up through the earth. Up until it reaches again your feet. And shooting that light again up through the body, gracefully, Ishalakai, hallelujah, and beautifully, until it reaches the top of the head. And imagining that light going up and up through the universe, Ishalakai. Up and up. Till you reach a spot that's right for you. Sitting in beautiful light with Creator, Ishkalaluya, Taratika, Alleluia. And then just imagining Melchizedek standing in front of you with a beautiful key of protection, Ishkalaluya Elohim. And stepping into the beautiful energy, Ishkalaluya. Knowing you're surrounded now by your angels and guides, Ishkalakai. Taking a deep breath. As love, peace, and protection surround you with compassion, Ishkalaluya, the compassion of Creator. Taking another deep breath as you feel the love surround you and the peace within you. And just imagining and seeing and sensing your angels and guides, the guides that are best for you, Ishkalaluya. Then just feeling a beautiful flow, beautiful energy washing over you. As you're washed in the light of Creator. And just feeling now thoughts that do not serve, worries, hallelujah, feelings, just being washed away. Feeling peace. As your troubles are given to the divine. Feeling lighter. And full of grace. Taking a deep breath. As you clear thoughts of the day now that do not serve. Feeling beauty and light all around. As Creator washes you with the light of heaven, washes you in the light of everlasting love and grace. Washes you in the light of all there is, Ishkalaluya. Washing you in the light of unity, Ishkapakaya Laluya Elohi, knowing we are all one, Ipikitika Aratikalaluya, and that Creator's love for you knows no bounds. Ipikiata ishitikarutika itifalaluya. And bringing some beautiful calming and settling energy to your thoughts. To your troubles. Clearing feelings that do not serve. Washed and bathed in love. And taking a deep breath. As we bring some grounding, Ashalaluya Elohim, peace, love and light. Through to each one of you now. So the light of Creator shines down and around you. And we're just going to come back slowly down again to where we sit. So slowly I want you to imagine now you're stepping out of that beautiful energy. Back to the beautiful light way up above the stars. A white, bright place with Creator. And still bathed in that glory and that light. Taking a deep breath. Creator settling. All in peace and love. Gonna slowly now come back down through the universe. Ishalakaya Luyalim. Bringing your glorious light with you. Bringing that light down till again it reaches the top of the head. Taking a deep breath as you take that light again through the body, down and down. Till it reaches the feet. And once again, taking that light down through new earth, bright gold and platinum earth. And up again to the feet, through the body, up to the head, where that light expands around us. Taking a deep breath as we anchor you back to the here and now, feeling, sensing, knowing Creator's light. Feeling washed and bathed. Hallelujah, Elohim, Karataka, hallelujah. As you feel glory and bathed in glory, in unity, and peace. Taking another deep breath. As you slowly and gently open your eyes.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
I'm slowly coming back. So definitely you want to drink some water, everyone.
Yeah. Oh, Laura.
Oh, goodness. All right. How's everybody doing? Whew. That was wonderful.
Oh,
Sarah,
glad
thank
you
you.
enjoyed it. Yeah, that's okay.
Susan was asking about the packages. Will the sessions be done by phone or Skype?
Often I use Zoom, but I can use Skype if people prefer that. So yeah, it's completely up to everyone what they prefer, really.
But Zoom is easy, you know, since you're used to Zoom, right? This is on
Yeah,
Zoom as
yeah.
well.
I just
Yeah.
email the Zoom invite and yeah, we do it like that, and then I can record it or I can make notes and send it, whichever you know anyone prefers, really.
Yeah. I mean, you can, it's easy to record on Zoom. It's also easy to record on Skype. I always forget that, but you know, I had a session with someone on Sunday and it was on Skype and I was able to record it on my end and I have the recording now. So it's like awesome because it's like, I'm not going to remember everything. Right. So, but yeah, Zoom is easy, right? We all know Zoom now. So pretty easy peasy. Thank you, Susan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Suzanne, sorry. Yeah, because not everybody's in the UK, right? So not everybody can make a phone call, right? So most people are in other parts of the world, right? Yeah,
absolutely. So it makes it so we can all connect and yeah.
Okay. So how are you feeling, Suzanne? How's everyone feeling after that brief, short little meditation and activation? For me, it's like I want to take a nap. Marie says, teary, thank you, lovely, good.
Oh, good.
Teary's good. You know, could just be releasing, so that's all right, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, because you know, part of when we do these calls and these processes, there's so much that comes up, right? And so if you're willing to let them go and release them, you may feel some residual emotions, right? You may feel some residual of that letting go.
Yeah, and you know, it is the letting go. So it's something that isn't making us feel peaceful. So we have room to bring that peace in.
Yeah, I'm still yawning. So Suzanne said I got tired, but was not so concentrated. So yeah, it's okay. Just allow it to continue because it's still going to continue to process through, right?
Yeah,
It,
absolutely.
it doesn't just end when Sarah says, okay, you can open your eyes now.
No,
It still goes
great
on.
still. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sarah, is there any other last message that your guys or Melchizedek have for us around, this time, at this time, what we've all been experiencing, all the stress, all the anxiety, etc., and how we can, find more peace with it. And like Liga says, I feel so beautifully light, peaceful, and happy. Awesome. So we obviously do this process again, right? Then you'll feel better as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Creator always knows what we need, we get from it, Yeah. Well, at this time, there's been a lot of fear about, obviously, and I did want to just briefly touch on, not going into great depth, about, a lot of conspiracy stuff that's going around and that type of thing. And I just want to remind everyone to, if something's making us feel fearful, is that coming from Creator's love and light? Because I've seen clients that are very in fear. They hear things and it ignites a fear in them. And I just, it's the idea here is that we're all meant to be coming together as one in unity. So I think we can get, conspiracy. What is a conspiracy? But it's an unproven theory. If you look it up, what's a conspiracy, or what is a theory? It's a theory that someone said. And when we look at vibrations, it's easy to get carried along with a mindset, because everything is a vibration, and if we match an idea, then we follow a flow. So sometimes we have to go within our heart to think, for instance, is this right for us? Because there's so much many people in fear, and it's making, some conspiracies are making a lot of people feel very isolated and alone. And I just think, we have to follow our own heart, our own guidance, and go deep within. And if it's going to make us not see people or feel like we're going to become ill, really, really ill, if we mix with certain people, etc., then it's not coming from love, and it's certainly not coming from Creator. And I really wanted to just bring in, let's all just really think about, look at where things are coming from, and if it's igniting a fear, then it is, and separating us, then it isn't coming from Creator. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Alara.
Yeah, absolutely. And then but again, follow your knowing, follow what's right for you.
That's right. We have to follow what's in our own heart, not go by what we're hearing. We have to go, not in our head, we have to follow our hearts.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I really did want to
absolutely
discuss.
And the best you can, stay out of that fear and stay, like, I can't see anybody right now, right? I mean, like, there's nobody here to see, but I would love to go to Paris. I would love to go to Canada to see my kids and my parents. But right now I can't, but I'm not going to go into fear about it or into negativity about it or anxiety about it. It's like, okay, so it just means if I can't see them physically, I will make an effort to do more WhatsApp calls with them. I'll because nobody does Zoom the family, right? So it's like, I'll just, do more FaceTime with them, right? And, so it's okay. It just means more connection, making a more conscious effort to connect with them.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah. And it's not to get caught up in fear-based, there's fear-based programs that are, and if anything's causing us to feel isolated or separated, then it isn't coming from Creator. That's really the message I really want to get out there.
Yeah. And and you might want to ask, creator, what's right about this? Like, what can I do about this? Right. And so, it's like, we have our limitations right now, for some of us. And so we have to follow that because, legal limitations are fine. Okay, fine. But creator, what else can I do now? How else can I reconnect with my family? How else can I connect with my family and my friends? What can I do? Right. So,
so
Zoom is great, you know, WhatsApp is great, FaceTime is great, just do more of it.
Right? Absolutely, because we've got ways of keeping in contact, but it's also about not getting dragged into things that would take us away from our family, for instance, because we're all one, and Creator wants us really not to go in my second book. I've written a chapter, and it is about not getting dragged into this stuff, because it takes us off our path. If we're so worried about something that we can't do our mission, or we can't you know, get our message out there, then it isn't coming from Creator. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
And, you know, we can still do our mission even if we can't do it physically hands-on with people, you know?
Absolutely. There
are other ways. So be creative. What else is possible, right? Awesome. Good. And always remember, you know, what does love feel like to you? Yeah, what does Creator's love feel like to you? Right? Focus on that, right?
Focus on that. And we need to kind of focus on what our mission is here, rather than what's kind of going on around us. There can be loads going on around us, but we need to focus on what's our mission, and what can we, in love and coming from the heart in love, give to another, rather than giving out negative stuff. We need to focus on what we, as a small individual, can give to others, I think, rather than getting caught up in all the fear stuff that's going on everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. What can you do to add more light and love to humanity and to the planet and to each other, right? So
absolutely.
Love, more light, more compassion, more caring. Add that. Focus on that, right?
Focus on that, because getting too focused on a fear-based thought can draw us away from what we're actually here to do, which is unite and become one altogether. So
absolutely. So on that note, you know, like I always say, you know, I'll just focus on what lights you up, what brings you joy, you know, and send that out to the planet, send that out to humanity, send that out to all the plants and animals and trees, you know, send out love, send out light, send out laughter, send out joy. That's what we need right now, right?
It is. And you know, when I was if we think about the law, a universal law of flux, it is about the positive vibrations spread everywhere. So the more of us that are doing this, the more of it that it's going to collapse old like outdated systems, and fear-based propaganda, or whatever you want to call it, is going to help collapse it. So we really need to focus on our world, sending out that love. I really do.
Love and compassion, send out light, send out joy, send out, you know, the energy of freedom, you know. Absolutely.
That's why we're here, and that's ascension, and it's coming back to the realization really that we're all one, we're all our own little angel in our own way, and it's coming back to that knowledge.
Absolutely. We are remembering, right? So it's not about becoming something. We already are that, but we are remembering who we are, right?
Absolutely.
And then expressing that into the world, right? So remember who you are and express that, so that other people can start to remember who they are, right? So go ahead.
It does have a snowball effect, you know. If we're giving out this, we're going to attract people that are giving out that, and we're going to be surrounded by that. Rather than fear, we need to really be projecting love everywhere. You know?
That doesn't mean we don't know what's going on, right?
No, we know what's going on.
We know what's going on, but we're focusing on, you know, sending out love and light and peace and blessings and joy and compassion and gentleness and kindness. That's what we'll focus on. We're not sending out more negativity, more angst, more anxiety, more fear. We're not sending that, right?
No, so, and that's, you know, the message I really wanted. That's my major message of the day, really, is focus on love. Focus on love from the heart, and come out of the mind and go into your heart, because that's where we're all going. And you know, a lot of collapses going on of old timelines that is fear-based, and it can seem more fearful stuff. And when we turn on the news, we can just focus on the bad news, but that's even collapsing, because as essentially continues to progress, we are going to be focusing more and more on the good news. And so it's really important that we stay in that place for us as individuals.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you. And that is our prayer and our blessing for all of you, that you will receive that for yourself, and then you will share that out to your family, friends, and community as well, and the planet. Okay. Yeah. So thank you, Sarah. Another wonderful show, wonderful call. I love it.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Alara. It's lovely to be here.
Always. And thank you, everybody, for your questions and your comments and your feedback, right? So, and your examples of your overindulgences. Thank you. A wonderful process, wonderful meditation activation. Like I said, again, I highly recommend the sessions with Sarah. You know, they're highly discounted right now, so you really want to take advantage of them. And not just that, like Sarah does go above and beyond, right? So whether you get the Akashic reading, 40-minute, the 60-minute, the 2-hour or 3-hour reading session, key session, it's all going to be transformational. It's all going to be helpful. I highly recommend getting one of them, you know, whichever one that you like. Package A and B are also available in 2- and 3-part payment plans, so that you can have more ease with that as well. And so that is available at alara.at/show/Sarah6, SARAH6. All right. So thank you, everyone. It's a full moon.
It is.
I forgot about that. It's a super moon, full moon, super moon, right? So it's like, it's been an intense day. I'm sure you all know that it's been building up to today, and it's like, it's been intense all week. So yes, but you know, enjoy. We're now in Cancer season. Full on summer is here now. So enjoy, right? Yeah. And start moving forward on your plans, on your goals, on your desires. Why wait? Okay. I forgot. It's Saint Jean-Baptiste Day in Quebec. That's right.
Lovely.
I forgot. I think it always sticks in my head. June 24th, Saint Jean-Baptiste Day. Yes, I know that because I used to work in the government, and the folks on the Quebec side had a holiday. We did not in Ontario. Yeah, awesome. Good. All right, everyone. So thank you. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Thank you. Bye for now, everyone.
Thank you.